Alright, welcome to the RTP show. I am the Prince RTP, and RTP means respect the Prince. And this is my first podcast, y'all saw in the title. In this podcast, this podcast is mainly a football one. So in this one, we're going to be talking about previous leagues, the previous league on what we did on our fantasy, and then we're going to talk about our current one. But before we get started, I do have some special guests. We have our commissioner, Ralph, for our Dynasty League. How are you today, Ralph?
Pretty tired.
Pretty tired,
It's pretty late today.
It is pretty late. And where are my manners? Joining me on the other side, we got the top 5 fantasy player. We got Eddie, Mr. Eddie Powerhouse. How are you today, my man?
I am doing good.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear. So, first off, I just want to say thank you both for helping me out on this. Couldn't have done it, and I'm very excited to actually start this. And what better way to start than having 2 very special guests. But yeah, anyway. What we're going to talk about first is we're going to talk about our last year fantasy league. So basically, it didn't go well for some of us, but yeah, some did make the playoffs, some did.
You know what? It only matters what's happening now.
It does.
You just don't go fast.
So basically, there were some trades. Should I get started on the first ever draft that we ever did before we did any trades? I feel like that would be a good idea.
First ever draft. We're gonna revisit so many mistakes.
We are so
sleeper. So
oh yeah,
going
no,
back
like
to the death of Cam Newton first round.
No,
not that one, not that one.
No, this one.
But that one was a bad pick.
Like where we did the whole.
That one was a bad pick.
Wait, like at the time it was hype. Like he was barely going to the Patriots, and like that was like his revenge tour. Because I had before, like right after the Panthers released him.
Let's just say this man is a fan of Cam Newton. It wasn't in this league. It was in the league where he had just joined the Patriots. Let's just say this man drafted him first round, and it was kind of a mistake.
But it was still a good season though for me. I found a good reliable backup as Josh Allen took over.
Oh yeah. I remember
I also drafted
first week and I lost. Yeah. I usually lose every week 1 game.
Isn't that the season you lost to Mark?
That is when I drafted Derek Carr on Thanksgiving, and
I remember you were like undefeated in Austin Creek team.
No.
That was this past season.
It was this one.
This past season.
But yeah, so basically, we have a 10-man league, and of course we have 3 commissioners. He is one of them.
Yeah, there's no tanking. There's no iffy spiffy right here. No bench gates. Yeah, no bench gates, no dumbass gate, no tight end gate.
So basically, we usually do a 10-man league. We just get like our friends, like whoever would be active and whoever loves watching football and whoever loves doing fantasy. We usually do that. So all of us were in it. He was the 2nd pick, he was the 3rd pick, and I was the 9th pick. So basically, I'm gonna go through at least what these 2 drafted and what I drafted, of course. Before we go into like all the trades and everything like that, because for sure all of us have done trades, and some of them were good, some of them were bad. So starting off with this man, since he was a 2nd round pick, he decided to go for McCaffrey. Why did you pick McCaffrey?
It's kind of back, to be honest. I mean, it was a risk at the time because McCaffrey gets hurt all the time at the time. Like he wouldn't finish any games at all. Like he would finish games without the whole season. Yeah. And I was always worried about, but at the same time, like he played really good for Reggie. And I wanted that for my team. And I wanted to take that risk. And so far it's paying off, especially that in the 49ers.
And then he's on the 49ers, and now somebody was begging for you to trade him for Christian McCaffrey, because he wanted him now that he joined his favorite team, the 49ers, which is Reggie.
I was trying to remember that trade. I was like,
because he was the 1st round pick, and of course he.
No, he wanted Debo too.
He wanted Debo. And that's another one, and we'll get to that when we finish ours. So He picked McCaffrey second round. It's very good for him, especially last season, right after he joined the Niners, or he got traded to the Niners. Let's move on to Ralph. No surprise, he picked Jamar Chase. Ralph, why did you pick Jamar?
Listen.
Let's hear him out.
Alright. This is a good long story, but before we get to it, I didn't realize. I thought Kevin was in front of me. I could have sworn he picked JJ and forced my with Jamar, but whatever. I still will go with that pick 10 out of 10 times. Now, Jamar has a special place in my heart.
How come?
Yeah, I'll come.
It takes back to, I guess, our last season in the redraft. I think that was also redraft the Cam Newton, right? Our last redraft season.
Was it?
I think so.
Let's just say it was.
That was like a couple years back.
Actually, no, it wasn't.
Well, it was our last redraft season. I know because Jamar's second year
Yeah.
was our past season.
But no, it wasn't when Cam Newton was drafted first round because I
That was
remember
2021.
when
Yeah, it was 2021.
it was. It was.
Okay. Yeah, because 2021 was our last redraft season.
Yes.
Before we went to sleeper, but it holds a special place in my heart because I remember when Jamar started in the preseason, he couldn't catch shit. Reminding me of someone.
Easy on the language.
But it was difficult. It was a difficult process hearing so many people just tell me off, ridicule me, saying it was a stupid pick, picking rookie Jamar Chase in a redraft season. And I was this close to dropping
Can you
it.
point out some people that said that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and talk. If there are people in our league, you're more than welcome to talk about
Was
it.
Loki one of them? Was I one of them?
Yeah, was I one of them?
Majority of y'all were that way.
I don't know if
I wanted to point people out.
Majority of y'all.
Yeah.
Majority of I can only say probably Esteban was one of the only ones that didn't tell me off just because he knew Jamar's potential. But aside from that, majority of the league was telling me off, saying how it was a stupid pick, that Jamar can't catch, even if it depended on his life. And I was this close coming to just pulling the trigger on him.
And dropping you.
And that could God. I decided to give him one more chance. I said it's the preseason. Anything can happen. So I put my faith in Jamar.
How much points did he drop that season?
Dude, didn't he beat Randy Moss's record?
I'm pretty sure. I know in fantasy because there was another league where Jamar was a rookie. I had him, and he dropped a lot of points. He did. But the thing was that in this league, because even though we didn't do it on this league, for fantasy point wise, he dropped a total of 302, and it was a top 3.
Yeah, he finishes in the receiver 3
Yes, he did.
as a rookie.
Oh, so he was top
As a
3.
Yeah,
In
as a
fantasy.
rookie. Yeah, as a
Yes,
rookie.
he was.
So the fact that I clinged on to him and decided, you know what, I'm going to put my faith on him. Whatever happens, he's unliable. I'm giving this young man a second chance. And it was like a bond from there. It was a special connection. Because I put my faith on these young men. And now,
He's producing for you.
Yeah.
He's an asset to your team.
it was just a special bond I couldn't let go. And that's the reason why I drafted him over JJ. As much as JJ is the clear number 1 receiver in the NFL, I like him too. But Jamar always has a special place in my heart. He's always going to be the reoccurring image of the Random Smashers. You know,
And he's
just,
young too, so he can keep producing unless you trade him for something big.
oh man, I'm
I
glad
see
to
exactly
trade
what
Jesus
actually
Christ,
trade.
and even had that man
So
for
at this
first.
point right now, he's like untouchable.
Very untouchable, and there's a lot of you little sneakers that try to, trade for Jamar for cheap.
I haven't
And
because
one
I know
of them is in this
Robert.
room.
It can't be me because I never do that many
I'm
trades.
not gonna pull up the trade details, but let's just say,
Maybe I was on something that night. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe I was onto something.
But no, I mean, I love Jamar to death. He's my guy, special bond. I put my faith in him. Now he's returning the favor. Because y'all will see why.
That's honestly very good of a paragraph that you mentioned. In all honesty, I feel like you drafting Jamar was a W. In the first round, especially because if he didn't do that well in his rookie year, he probably would have been at least third or fourth, unless you would have drafted him second. But honestly, it was very good. I'll admit it.
And to all, and majority of the league that doubted that Jamar Chase pick,
Regret.
rookie year.
I really want to.
Y'all look stupid.
Alright, so basically, he was the third round pick. Fourth round, we had Kevin drafting Justin Jefferson. We had Ricky drafting Derrick Henry. We had Oscar drafting Najee Harris. We had Robert drafting Alvin Kamara. And we had Jace. I don't know who Jace is. I've never seen him. I don't talk to him. I know Rob doesn't
Pretty
know
cool
about
guy.
him.
I haven't seen him in a while either, but he's a pretty cool guy.
I've never met the guy.
Yeah, I would witness like the most intense NBA arguments, and I'll just be watching them going back and forth.
No, it was a shit show. You know, once it was Dusty Diner to eat, it was always a debate whether it was me versus Robert, me versus Jace, or Jace versus Robert, or a 2v1.
I remember like Robert made a take on this rookie, like some like
James Wiseman.
was that
It
him?
was Wiseman.
Yeah.
He's saying like drafting like literally like the entire team's asset for that one guy who wasn't even proven to play, and y'all just like went off on him.
And the funny part is, that take ended up happening, but for the wrong reasons.
What do you mean?
Like, why
He got traded because he just wasn't good in the Warriors system.
Yeah.
No,
Like, he didn't get along well, right?
That and
That's what I heard.
he just didn't fit well with their system. He
Yeah.
tried doing what they didn't want him to do. They just need a traditional big, back to the basket big, like Kevon Looney. All he does is rebound and then he gets the job done.
That's true.
And but the thing Wiseman, he can barely play defense as it is. And he takes
so we have Travis and Tenney. They have that guy.
ETN.
ETN's how you spell it?
Yeah.
Pronounce it.
So continuing on, Jace was the 8th overall pick, and he ended up drafting Dalvin Cook. And for me, I was number 9, and I took my talent and I drafted Cooper Kupp. Now, I saw Cooper Kupp last year. I looked at his highlights, and he was the number 1 receiver, surprisingly. He killed it that season that Jamar was a rookie, and it was Jefferson's second year as well. He honestly killed it, surprisingly. None of us knew. None of us knew. I don't know who had him before we did this one. If I had to guess, I think
it was Esteban.
It was Esteban.
Esteban had it when he had his breakout year in Triple Crown season.
It was Esteban then. Yeah. So I drafted him first round. Part of me was like, I feel like he could do good, but the other part of me was like, it's not gonna be the best first pick because of his age, because he's old already. But he's still good, but he's old. We're not gonna talk about what happened last season yet until we we're not gonna do the whole entire draft of why we picked this player. We're just gonna do a few, and then we're gonna move on to talking about how we did last season. But continuing on, I drafted Kupp because last year my first overall pick was Adams, but Adams did good in some games, but not all of them, and I kept Adams basically. And I'm gonna tell you all one thing. I saw on my email one time, I got a trade request from Kevin.
Oh boy.
He wanted Adams. He offered 2 players. I don't remember the other player, but one of them was actually Jefferson. I'm not gonna lie, one of them was actually Jefferson, but I declined it because he wanted Adams, and it was stupid of me, I know, but I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't heard of Jefferson's name.
Let's bring it forward.
Kevin,
I had
he would
not.
send you absolute steals.
Yeah, he would. That was one trade that I should have accepted, and I didn't because I had not heard Jefferson's name until mid-season of that year, and which made me realize I saw that trade, and I declined it. I did.
How'd you feel?
I regretted it. There were a lot of trades that I've seen that I regret accepting, that I declined, and then a few days later, they would be good something good will happen to that player, and it made me regret it. Just like that one that I got from Kevin. Anyway, so yeah, I drafted Cup, but it wasn't a mistake. But when I drafted him, but let's just say during the season, it was a mistake. Continuing on, we got a 7, who was the last pick, and he ended up drafting Austin Eckler. Now our draft was snake-wise, so he went from the last pick to the first pick in the second round, and he ended up drafting Joe Burrow, a quarterback, surprisingly, in the second round. And
the Dynasty League got that, so like he messed out some key players.
He did, honestly. And then it was my turn, and I drafted Adams. Now this was before I found out that Adams went to Las Vegas. And I drafted Adams because he was still in Green Bay. And I had no idea. But part of me regretted that. I did regret drafting Adams because I had a feeling that he was going to go to a different team. And I should have not done it. Like, at all. But honestly, once they hear what happens further on, they'll know something very interesting. But anyway, continuing off, we had Tyreek Hill by Jace, Patrick Mahomes, DeAndre Swift, T. Higgins.
That was a reach.
Nick Chubb, and then back to Ralph drafting Terry McLaurin.
That was a reach too.
What made you draft McLaurin in the second round?
So this is
a have him though?
No, but this is a funny story. So, and it involves your next pick. So because at the time, the main commissioner just didn't want to assemble everyone to one party. He just tried to make it fair, or I guess work out with everyone's schedule, make it 24 hours a pick. I didn't like that personally. I was like, I just want to get the draft out of the way. But because the draft took so long, and literally it took about a month to finish?
Yeah.
It took about a month to finish, FYI. But I was thinking in my head the first day of the draft, I'm going to get Debo. I'm going to get Debo. That was actually that was going through my head. I want Debo. My second round pick didn't arrive until the day 2. I completely forgot Debo existed. I forgot CD existed. And I chose Terry McLaurin because he was on top of the receiver list.
But like, Terry McLaurin is pretty good.
Yeah, he did good.
No, I like him, but I missed out on CD.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like other receivers that were there.
But yes, I meant to pick Debo, and the only reason why I remember it so vividly was because after I made that Terry McLaurin pick, this guy got Debo. I was like, I just wanted to just.
Bro, when I got Debo, I mean, at the time, Debo, like, he's been performing, but not to the expectations that I thought he would perform in. Like, he's scoring points, he's making points, but like in this, like in the flex area, like that kind. He's doing good, but not as well as I thought he would. Because when I drafted him, the season prior to that, he was like the like, superstar. Yeah, he was like doing amazing, and now. He's doing like 10 points.
He didn't do the best.
He's just playing his role.
Yeah.
Offense.
But yeah, that was who he picked.
Yeah.
Who he could have picked, but
I picked him.
he picked him. Yes.
I picked him.
So in a way, Terry was the better choice, but y'all will find out what happened to the dear old Terry.
And then of course we had Reggie as the last one, and he ended up picking CeeDee Lamb, which
Ralph missed out on.
Which Ralph did miss out on. And then third round. Reggie drafted Joe Mixon, and then Eddie drafted Josh Allen.
That's an amazing pick. I mean,
in the third round, surprisingly, but
no one picked him up.
No one picked him up, yeah. But his third round pick is gonna be a surprising one.
It's controversial
because he picked Kyle Pitts. Why did you pick him in the third round?
I will stand by this to the day I die. Kyle Pitts is still an amazing tight end.
Well, yeah, like him by himself, yes, but it's hard to get one with the offensive team.
Yeah.
It's because the deal is
we adjust the thing real quick.
Y'all know this. Half my body's showing.
It's alright. Alright, continue.
Some of y'all knows I hate Arthur Smith.
Yes.
If you're watching Arthur Smith, I hope you're watching. I hate you. So, he uses Pitts to his biggest weakness, and that's blocking. And then when he has them on routes to run, which is rare for some reason, he has Marcus Mariota throwing him the ball. Like, what the hell, man? Like,
but isn't the other QB to guy's name? I had him like drafted.
Ritter, Desmond Ritter.
Oh yeah, Desmond Ritter. I have him. Don't I still have him? But like on my taxi.
But regardless, I mean, hopefully, I mean, he's due for a good year now, for potential breakout. Because like, I mean, he had a really good rookie season, just like he didn't score a touchdown.
No,
that's what's up. He only scored a touchdown in London, I think, and I won the Pro Bowl. But and then was this past season was pretty disappointing. Like I said, they misused him so bad. But he has the potential to be a top 5 fantasy tight end. I think he does.
If he does good, which I'm pretty sure he would. But the thing is that hopefully they will give him the ball more.
But like I said, it's just on Arthur Smith.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know why he didn't really revolve the offense on Pitts. It was basically their best offensive player.
And fun fact, he was the first one in the draft to draft a tight end, and Eddie was the third to draft a quarterback. I was about to say the first for a second. But he was the first to draft a tight end first round.
Yeah, by initiating the domino effect, you're welcome.
The second tight end drafted was Ricky drafting Dalton Schultz, which
that was a big reach.
I mean,
that's a good pick.
I feel like it's too early for that.
That was a too early pick.
It was way too early.
Oh, for Dalton Schultz.
For Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, yes. I think people. I love Dalton Schultz, but he's a little bit overrated. Y'all need to see film.
I don't know.
He's only good. He's only good in the seams and drag. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like it was.
Like you have to like. It's basically making concepts that revolve him getting open. Literally, because with Kellen Moore, all you did was sticks. That's it. All you did.
Yeah.
He was mostly a stick guy.
But still, when he still used efficiently, when he still used like good.
Oh yeah, he was Daxter a target at one point.
He was, honestly, I
but
would see that.
he's not really like. I think he's just borderline top 10 just because of his efficiency.
As of now, so far, I feel like he is, but we'll just see how he does this coming season. Let's just hope he does good with you know who. Can't mention his name right now until we mention next season, because right now we're
Hopefully
mentioning.
he drops a touchdown. It brings tears to that person.
That would be good. And then he led me.
Oh, wait, both of them are actually. It's both.
Both who?
You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot about those two.
And then they drafted tight end, which led me to draft a tight end, and lo and behold, I drafted Travis Kelce. And surprisingly, I'm surprised nobody got him.
Travis Kelce?
I drafted him third.
And Ricky picked up Dalton Schultz first.
He picked up
That's
Dalton
what I'm
Schultz.
saying, that was a huge reach.
Yeah, that's why the second tight end drafted was Dalton Schultz.
But he could have at least gotten George Kittle, man.
George Kittle.
George Kittle, Mark Andrews.
No, I'm pretty sure if I didn't draft Travis Kelce,
and
I'm
I
pretty sure
drafted
Estelle
Mark
didn't draft.
Andrews.
Exactly.
You did.
Ricky did a really bad reach with that one.
And he
especially at tight end.
He ended up giving him away.
But
Bag of chips.
Yep.
But we can't mention that yet because it's too early.
Yeah, it's too early.
Okay, so then who is the next pick? It would have to be after. Well, we will go to the 4th round. So who was your 4th round pick?
A mistake, I'm going to let y'all know. I drafted Kyler Murray, and let me tell y'all, I missed out on Justin Herbert a lot, dude. Like, I drafted Kyler Murray because last year, or not last, that year, before we did the sleeper, I saw that Reggie had Kyler Murray, and he actually killed him in the league. That year, he sucked. He did, honestly. It was a mistake, but further on, you're going to see the good news.
Did you have a QB, like a QB kind of fill in, or you were stuck with Kyler Murray that whole season?
Backup was, I did have some quarterbacks. I did have Tua. I drafted him round 11. I had Mayfield. I drafted him round 19. And I had Jared Goff. I drafted him last round. So I did have some backups. I was scared of Tua because he had no weapons, because it was before you know who.
At the time.
At the time, exactly. I missed out on Herbert. I probably missed out on Jalen Hurts as well.
For sure, you missed out on Jalen Hurts.
I did.
Herbert, for sure. Like,
I did. Murray was a mistake to draft, but y'all will find out what's gonna happen very soon. Let's move on to the 4th round for Ralph. Antonio Gibson.
Okay, that one has by far got to be my biggest bust. Oh my god, not only was that a huge reach, that's got to be the biggest bust probably in the draft.
What did you miss out on? What do you feel like you?
Oh, I don't know. Saquon? You talking about Saquon?
Saquon. What were you thinking? Do you remember what you were thinking about drafting Gibson?
This is an embarrassing story. This is why I don't take Kevin serious. I trusted Kevin's word on Antonio Gibson because apparently he was good that year prior.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what?
Did you even check?
I did check, but for some reason, it was weird. I mean, I know he was kick ass against the Cowboys for some reason, but who wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And then he just had a solid year, so I was like, okay, he's probably, and for some reason he was, the ADP had him high. Like, you know what? Let's draft him. You know, he has some upside.
And
Bro got benched to the 3rd string during the season, bro.
Brian Robinson, right? That was his name.
He was the one that got drafted and then got shot.
And then got shot.
Yeah, it was me.
So you drafted Antonio Gibson, and you're saying that it was a mistake.
But there was another guy I had on my team.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't forgot his name.
Yes. He's in the Bills. No, I think.
Oh, I think I know.
I've always like tried to oversell him and trade him away.
Yeah.
But I forgot his name.
No. Eddie, you drafted Mark Andrews in the 4th round. Your first tight end. So for you, basically, you drafted your top 4. You drafted each position. You started off with a running back. You went to a receiver. You went to a quarterback, and then you went to a tight end. Was that part of your plan, or were you just scared that let me draft Mark Andrews just in case somebody else gets him?
I mean, my game plan was I did have some players I did want, but I didn't overcommit on them. Like, oh yeah, I want these guys.
Yeah.
Just because someone could steal them, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So who do I get now? So what I did was I got a couple of guys that I liked in general, and I sort of prioritized halfback first. Like that's what I felt like people were gonna start picking on first. So I got the halfback first, and then as of QBs, at the time there was a little stigma of if you draft a QB first, you're not a good GM. So no one drafted QBs in the beginning. So there was a good QB pool by the time I drafted.
Joe Burrow was drafted.
Yeah.
I think was Mahomes drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round? Second. So it was Robert that picked him. So those were the only 2 quarterbacks. And yeah, you got Josh Allen. Honestly, that was a steal.
And what was it? 3rd round?
3rd round.
And no one's picked him. And he, at the time before that, we did the redraft season. I had Josh Allen, and he did amazing. He did awesome. And I was surprised no one picked him, so I took a chance and picked Josh Allen. I know today he throws a lot of picks, but still, he's still a point factor. He's still making a lot of points.
Oh yeah.
And so I took Josh Allen, not even regret it or had a second guess, because I knew he was gonna be good, and he was already guaranteed he's gonna be good. And with the rest of my picks, Mark Andrews, he's a very vital part of that team. He's the only tight end that has control over the offense. He can block and catch and do anything. He can do whatever he wants basically.
Yeah.
So he's versatile. So he's basically the point factor too. Yeah, he can have his down weeks and like that, but he's gonna come back. He's still gonna produce at least 10, 12 points.
Yeah.
And that's good for a tight end in my opinion.
That's honestly not bad at all, honestly. Continuing, 5th round. We're just gonna go through all of y'all's probably until the 10th round, and then we could talk about the season because I don't plan on going through the whole entire one. I'll just mention like, oh, drafted this, but I won't ask why.
Yeah, like later rounds is just we're just picking.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go by here and there.
Yeah.
So you pick Chris Godwin as your 5th round.
That's to me, it's a good pick. I like that.
And
I feel like he's good, but he kind of fell too far down.
no, he did pretty good. It's no debate. He did pretty good compared to Mike Evans, but then there's just one game that Mike Evans actually like killed it, and that's gonna be mentioned further on, which I don't even want to mention because it's gonna be sad for me. But honestly, Chris Godwin is actually a good steal.
He's a solid player. I like him.
He is. And then with the 3rd in the 5th round, Ralph picked Devontae Smith.
Yeah, they got the Heisman winner.
Devontae Smith.
Unfortunately, his era didn't last long with me.
Oh, so he ended up trading him away.
We'll find out.
Bag of
who we got.
chips.
Why are you Devontae Smith for a bag of chips? How did you feel?
It wasn't technically a bag of chips, but once we explain it, then you would realize I got a bag of chips at the end.
Like once we finish this,
50% Air League chips.
like once we finish like the draft, we're gonna literally mention like some of the trades that we did that year before we move on to the season. So for me, I needed a running back. I missed out on specific ones. I ended up picking Aaron Jones, and I picked him because I needed a running back. And I was going to pick Jacob, but of course he was taken right before I was going to pick a running back.
Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs. And he got taken, so I drafted Aaron Jones. Now this next pick was a steal. The 6th round, I picked Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nobody knew. I saw his name and I was like, I'm gonna steal him.
Yeah, I can't believe him.
And I was hoping Esteban didn't steal him.
I can't believe I didn't pick him up.
I was actually pick him up in that round. That's the funny part.
And I snagged him. I picked him, and this guy was like, you stole him from me. I was gonna pick him, and I'm like, I got him. And I'm gonna tell you, I offered him Amon-Ra St. Brown for a specific player. He declined it, and he probably.
I think I remember from Miles Sanders. Was it Miles Sanders?
No.
It was like it was a steal for me, and I regret it.
It was gonna be a steal for you, but I'll tell you in a bit. But I remember I offered you Amon-Ra St. Brown for a specific player, and you're probably gonna find out who it is right after I say it.
The people?
No.
Well, I remember Robert sent me a trade.
Remember I gave you the fattest trade for Debo? You think we were eating sushi?
Oh God, I can't wait.
You used to like player on top of player. Or was it like a bunch of picks?
There was a lot of picks on players. Like a fattest deal for Debo.
Alright,
I remember like
Not as fat as the one we made, but it was a fat deal.
Y'all are hyping it up. I haven't looked into the chat in a bit.
let's go ahead and finish the draft. We'll just say who we picked, and then we're gonna move on to
This current season. Or
the previous season. Like before we started, like if we remember specific trades that we did last year before the season.
I don't remember
So
anything.
in the 6th round, Ralph picked Javonte Williams, the running back for Denver.
I still love that pick.
Eddie
to this day.
Pitts.
He's underrated.
Leonard Fournette, and then Eddie picked James Conner, and then Ralph picked J.K. Dobbins in the 7th round. Both those were in the 7th.
Who is now under new management.
The management.
I picked Kareem Hunt, and then I went down and picked Miles Sanders. That was round 8 on Miles Sanders. And then Ralph picked a quarterback finally. The
Yeah, it was
usual
just us,
quarterback,
bro.
Dak Prescott.
You were pressuring you, right?
We were
so many
pressuring-
draft
This
picks.
man.
It's funny because I was actually picking Tom Brady. I was thinking of picking Tom Brady.
That was last season, right?
Yeah.
That was his last season.
So I was like, I could just get a quarterback in the draft.
But didn't Jace pick him up, but then he retired and unretired?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like, I
No,
don't
but
want
he
to
didn't-
guarantee.
he
And
didn't-
then he unretired. He just came back.
He didn't draft him. James did not draft Tom Brady.
Wait, I
No,
feel like
that didn't happen, but
He wavered him.
Yeah.
He like just signed him.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
I think that's when we found out that he had already retired.
yeah.
And then he unretired and then Jay
It
signed
took
him.
like a month for him to unretire.
Yeah.
And we already had finished at that point.
I know, okay.
So where was I? So Dak and then Reggie went with Singletary. And then Reggie went with a backup.
Singletary's with Eddie.
Yes. And then Eddie went with Tyler Conklin.
This is a solid backup.
He was solid.
And then I got Slant Boy.
And then Ralph got Mike T, Michael
I'm
Thomas.
trying to remember who it is.
Can hear Mark.
Mike T, Michael Thomas.
What's up? Oh, Michael Thomas.
That's
Wait.
what Ralph picked.
Hasn't he played?
He barely played in the beginning.
Dude, I remember he was so good for me in the beginning of the season.
And then he sucked.
And I sold him when he was high to Robert.
Oh yeah.
I sold him when he was high.
Then I picked Hunter Renfro. And I wanted to trade him because that's when I found out that Adams went to Las Vegas. And those two were together, Renfro and Adams. Then I picked Chris Carson, which is honestly one that I do regret. Because right after I drafted him, he retired.
Oh yeah, I remember I had him like that season prior, and he had like a neck injury and stopped playing like right after that.
And then he went with Mike Gesicki, Ralph, because that was his backup tight end. And then Eddie went with Tyler Boyd, and we're gonna explain Tyler Boyd in a bit, because it's gonna be so interesting. But other than that, yeah, I guess that's all for the draft. So let's go ahead and talk about. Y'all want to talk about trades right now, or do you want to talk about the rookie draft? Of that year?
We can send him to the rookie draft real
The
quick.
rookie draft, y'all.
No. Actually, I want us to do the trades because the rookie draft was this right there.
Oh, okay.
All right. So
Hey.
basically,
Y'all clown me for rookie draft, but
we'll explain.
like it wasn't like a productive draft, but it was a building draft. It was a good development draft for me.
So what he's saying.
Wait, just say you got a bad draft.
No, I said that I got good defensive players.
So what he's saying is that basically,
You got a shitty draft.
he did bad in the draft. Well,
No,
a lot
I
of
did
people
not.
say that he lost, but basically the trade was that he traded with me. He wanted Miles Sanders, and y'all, these guys knew that I hated him, and I drafted him because, of course, he was there. He wanted Sanders, so he offered Tyler Boyd and his first round pick for Miles Sanders, and I just said, accept, and I accepted that.
I thought you would have popped off. I mean, he did pop off to a certain degree, but Miles Sanders was a good. It was a, man, I did win because you fucking just like with that first round pick, you missed out on like what? Who? Brees Hall?
No,
Who'd you pick that first
You
round?
missed on Kenneth Walker and Brees Hall.
that was it. That was for my
So
pick.
someone that like no one even heard of.
It was the pick that I picked. That was mine. I missed out on Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker, but the one that you gave me that I drafted, I made it up and drafted a running back.
And who draft?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you soon.
You don't remember who he was.
I do remember.
You remember.
I do, but
You remember it?
Yeah, I know.
You know.
I'm not gonna say it.
Don't have
Okay,
lies.
let me
I know.
let
I
me
can give you the initials.
explain another
Give me
draft.
see right now.
T.A.
T.A.
TA. That's his first and last name. Initials.
T.A.
You know, I'll give you one hint. He had a 1,000-yard season last year, and he got replaced this year.
Definitely got replaced.
We'll get to it. So
I'll give you one more hint.
What's it?
I have his replacement.
T.
Hey, no.
No,
You're gonna spoil
cheating.
something. You're gonna spoil something. No.
All right.
Okay.
This is the trade I want to talk about, and it was with him. So, you all knew that I had Adam's second round. He wanted him. So basically, this man offered. Let's see what he offered.
Jeffrey?
So this man offered for Adams. He offered Saquon, Michael Gallup, and Rondale Moore, and he wanted Adams, and he wanted a third round pick for I don't know why. I should have not given you that. Because Michael Gallup and Rondale Moore didn't do crap. It was just Barkley. And I accepted it. and everybody questioned. They were like, "Why?"
Was it one of them more good?
I don't know.
He had some upside.
He had some, yeah.
Some
He
upside.
wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst. But I ended up getting Barkley because I needed a running back.
But I have. But I have another one.
And then,
Good.
and that was a steal. And let me tell you another one that was a steal for me. I traded with Robert. So Robert had Mahomes as starting, but backup he had Lamar Jackson. I wanted Lamar Jackson. So I offered him Kyler Murray and Antonio Gibson. Okay, for Antonio Gibson, he had him, but we traded. So
Let's just say that one's literally deemed as the mid trade of all time.
it was good for me because I got rid of Antonio Gibson. But it sucked for you because you thought that Allen Robinson was going to be good.
Yeah, but I got rid of him.
So
To someone.
I traded Murray, I traded Gibson, and I ended up getting Lamar Jackson in Hollywood.
You got passed around by all three of us. That's funny. What'd you do with him?
We were talking about?
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
I think I still have them.
I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure you do. So I
But,
traded.
like, there was someone else in that trade that I picked up.
You guys say
He's
Jones.
with the Steelers. Yeah, Zay Jones. He's alright. He's a solid piece.
Oh, Zay Jones. I remember. So I ended up getting Lamar Jackson and Hollywood, and a lot of people were saying that I won the trade. And judging by the season, it was kind of 50-50 due to the fact that Kyler Murray sucked and Lamar Jackson got injured. Hollywood got injured as well, but like in the beginning, he played on specific games. So I would say it would be about 50-50 for that draft. But I needed a better quarterback.
Speaking of quarterbacks, what are your take on this trade? It was the first ever trade completed in this league. It involved our DO commissioner Reggie
I think I know who it is.
with Oscar. And this was his
Yes.
one and only trade, by the way. He
The
hasn't
first
done-
ever trade?
Yeah, first ever trade.
I remember.
And
that.
this was
In league
literally
history, like in
the league history. This is dynasty league.
Okay.
And this was Oscar's one and only trade, by the way. He hasn't done any moves since.
What?
Yeah, I mean, besides Riverwire pickups, right? But he hasn't done any trades since this. So he made the first trade, and bro just said, "I'm done."
The Oscar win that
I
trade?
remember that
Well,
trade.
I'm gonna hear your trade. I'm gonna hear your take. Ready?
Okay.
He traded away Trey Lance for Mac Jones. Reggie got
remember
Trey
that.
Lance.
I remember
that one.
Mac Jones didn't do good.
Neither of them did good.
The trans got hurt. Didn't he?
But he sucks regardless.
And
I feel like the 49ers lost on that.
it's because Mac Jones was coming off a rookie, a Pro Bowl. Well, to be fair, he should have been a Pro Bowl. He was just an alternate, but
Yeah.
he got into the Pro Bowl. He had like a solid rookie season, but he had so much hype. I thought he was way overrated.
He was
To
overrated.
me, he's just a system quarterback. He's not really that much special. But regardless, Trey Lance, and y'all know how I feel about Trey Lance. I think he's a bust.
He is a bust. The 49ers did.
I think
Like,
Got
that's gotta be
going
the worst
into this
trade of all
season-
time in Niners history. Maybe
Yes.
NFL, maybe.
Going
3
in-
first rounds for that bust.
For that, exactly.
We'll see this season if Trey Lance is actually a bust or not. To know for sure.
Let's be honest. Brock Purdy's gonna start at least week 1.
Well,
I'm pretty sure he will.
They're heading to that direction.
It's gonna
But
be.
the only way I see Trey Lance recently is if he dies again. Like if Brock Purdy gets injured again. But
Yeah.
even then, he's fighting for that QB2 spot. I don't know if y'all heard, but he's also fighting against Sam Darnold for QB2.
Yeah, but Sam
Sam Darnold?
Yeah, Sam
He's in the
Darnold.
Niners?
He's in
Yeah,
the
he's the
Niners.
Niners.
Yeah, we gotta catch up.
You do.
I gotta catch up.
So.
And I think Sam Darnold's a solid QB. Like nothing.
Yeah, he's solid.
Like nothing too crazy, but he's solid. Like he can play.
Big take, he could be the next Jimmy G for the Niners. Because if you look at Jimmy G, he didn't do anything special either. He just did what he was asked to do.
Yeah.
He was really good at handing off the ball.
That too, the short completions. Not only that, Shanahan had so many concepts that just revolved around very open players. Either for Kittle, Elijah, and then with this year CMC. Like, he was an offensive guru that helped Jimmy become one of the best Niner quarterbacks. I know that's a hot take right there, Not all time, but in a while. Because they haven't had a good quarterback in a while before Jimmy.
I was about to say like all
Yeah,
time.
no, not all time.
Not all
No,
time.
before Jimmy
They
came
had
into the
Steve
picture,
Young.
they had a struggle. They had C.J. Beathard at one point. Remember?
That is, yeah, I remember that.
Beat hard.
Yeah.
But,
Alright, any other trades we got before we move on
Oh,
to
no, I
Maybe
got a
we can
couple.
go over like blockbuster trade in that season, like the biggest trade we think.
no, I got one. It's a very controversial one, and it involves our good old buddies from TAMU, Roberto and Ricardo. Does King Henry ring a bell?
Oh my god, dude, that is the
Yo.
stupidest trade I have ever seen, dude. Like, I was severely pissed when that happened. When that literally
And
happened.
this was like towards the
I
end of the
literally
deadline.
was thinking about like what was going through his
He's
head.
And the
Stupid,
funny
dude.
part is, I was there for the whole thing. I was there during that discussion, and I was there to witness a stupid mastery behind it.
Like, how did
Yeah,
Robert
explain it,
Like,
please.
how did that go down? Because
Alright.
he gave Robert Derrick Henry for literally like half a bag.
For the backup tight end and like 3 third-round picks. Like second and a third, probably.
So here's how it went down.
How did he twist it, dude?
Yeah.
So we were all sitting at Robert's room, and he was desperate. He even wanted, he was telling me, Ricky was saying he wanted to trade him. Because he was aging, he was injury prone, he was like, I don't want him. He didn't value his actual worth. He's still like a top 5 back, regardless, right? But Ricky just didn't have
He was
to.
worried about like things that could happen to him.
Yeah, he overthought it, and he was like, you know what? I need to trade him. Unfortunately, nobody wanted to trade anything big for him because you know Ricky wanted Jesus back.
Yes.
So he went to Robert, and you know Robert just pulled his finesse, you know, magic voodoo.
Bro, oh my god.
And then this is how this is how it basically went. Just in short, it was like, I'll take anything you can get me. And Robert just sent him 2/3, actually a second and a third for 23. And here's where Ricky messed up. He thought he was getting the backup running back for Henry. He's like, okay, Henry dies, I got the backup. This motherfucker got the 3rd string running back. He didn't realize until after the trade.
It was Hassan Haskins, right?
Yep.
That dude ended up getting arrested. Do you know that? Him and I guess his girl got arrested for it. Yeah.
Oh, they both got arrested.
They both got arrested. I heard about it when I was at work, and I was like, Ricky messed up. He is a literal idiot.
But by far, that's gotta be the worst trade all time for Ricky. The Ricky worst trade of all time.
I mean,
Okay,
it's a
He gave
Dalton
Derrick
Schultz
Henry
trade.
for a bag of chips, literally.
You think that's worse, or do you think the one with Kevin trading Jefferson was worse?
Every single Kevin trade is the worst trade.
No, but that
Majority were
Jefferson
scams.
one, dude. That
He scams
Jefferson.
himself. Like he would send the trade. Like it would be an absolute steal for the person like getting that trade.
Dude, the Jefferson trade, I feel like that one was way worse.
If
I
he makes
mean-
that play.
Dude, this man, Kevin, traded Jefferson Fields in a second round. He traded away. No, he got Keenan Allen and Kyler Murray. And he traded Jefferson Fields in a second round. I feel like Ricky's was way worse, but this one was so stupid as well. Because Jefferson is literally good, and Kevin basically gave him the Robert for free.
In other words, Kevin got a really poor piss quarterback and an aging injury-prone receiver. Was now on the verge of basically being out of the Chargers team. This is like his last year. I don't know if y'all heard these reports that they were planning to cut him because of cap space, but they finally managed to squeeze him in for one more year.
Surprisingly.
So this is literally his make it or break it year, like as far as like winning a chip.
Last season was so sad. Like, there were specific games when I played Eddie. That game was so sad.
Which one? Roquan? What?
With Roquan, yeah. Yeah, that game was so sad.
Bro.
With an interception that he caught, this man beat me.
Yo, Roquan Smith had a monster game. Like I was down like 20 points.
Like, out of any week, it had to be against me. When you had him against me. Like,
it's because like I meant that to happen. Like Like I knew Rokan would play good, but like he had like what, like 10, 14 tackles.
Yes.
And with that INT.
And I was watching the game live.
Me too.
And then I see this guy literally texting in the chat, "What happened?" or something like that. He's like, "You lost."
Yeah, I was talking so much shit in the chat after I was down 20 and Rokan made me come back.
And it was surprising because the first 5 games or 4 games, I was undefeated. Me and Jace were undefeated, and we were each separated divisions. And me and him were the highest. I freaking lost to Oscar out of anybody, dude. I lost to Oscar.
Oscar had a bad team that season.
He had a bad team, and I lost to him. He made me get my first L, and I gave him what? His first win, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. I hate that because that's the second time it's already happened.
But that's how fantasy is. Like,
Exactly.
You're gonna
Like,
expect some BS at some point.
it always happens to me.
Or should have been very that for
It always happens to me.
Now, before I'm sorry for interrupting, but I gotta bring this trade up because this was actually history changing, league breaking. Involved you.
Don't tell me it's the one we just did.
No.
No?
But it involves up there. Perhaps.
Oh, the one that I did with.
So because of Cooks, we had to make.
Wait, what season was it? What year was it?
It was the one before we started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of Cooks, we had to make a no tank rule. This man offered basically his future for this person. He offered Aaron Jones, Amon St. Brown, 3 firsts, and $5 for Justin Jefferson. Like, we didn't like the $5 part. That was so much you gave up, boy. Why'd you give up so much? You at least gave him like $0.
Dude, you know what Robert
you have
is?
to get fat, boy.
Dude, I included those 2 players plus one pick.
You're already giving like off like your whole future with Amon St.
I
Brown.
did.
in the
You
first
overdid it
round.
with the money almost, you know.
And then an extra 5 free agency dollars. Like, what the fuck?
Dude,
No way.
that you know how Robert is, dude. That like when it's us trading for somebody that he has, he always makes it like that he wants Jesus. And like I was like, okay, let me offer all 3 of my first rounds. I didn't think he would freaking accept it, but then I was like, all right, I kind of want Jefferson, just process it.
But because of that trade, it ended up going through, and we made the no tank rule. You cannot no longer add 3 first-round picks to a trade. So it has to be 2 or less.
So from that trade, a rule was born because it was so.
It was because of me.
so
Now-
overvalued. Like, it was so
I
one-sided.
overpaid, yeah.
Now this rule foreshadows a recent trade we're gonna get into in a bit. But
Soon after
Yeah.
we talk about the previous rookie draft.
yeah. But for now, that was a league changing at the time, and we still have that rule to this day.
Now let's talk about the playoffs. About what happened in the playoffs.
So you were there in the playoffs.
Let me go ahead and explain from the bottom. So basically the playoffs was, we were 10 in total, so it was top 8, while the other 2 are in the toilet bowl. So the ones that were in the toilet bowl, okay, no, I'm wrong. It's the top 6. The other 4 are in the toilet bowl. So it was Kevin versus Reggie, and Reggie won by 2 points. And then it was Ralph versus Oscar, and Oscar won. So for last place to get the first round pick, it was Ralph versus Kevin. And of course, this man didn't care who won or lost because he literally had both of them. He had both Kevin's and his pick, so he didn't care regardless. So he lost, and Kevin won, so he got 9th place. Reggie versus Oscar for 7th place. Reggie won. And let's talk about the playoffs. So the rule was each conference has a bye. So for the AFC it was Esteban, and for the NFC it was Robert. So it was Jace versus Eddie, and Eddie killed him. And it was me
Top
versus
5 right here.
me versus Ricky. I didn't kill him, but I still won for the semifinal. The semifinal was Esteban versus Eddie, and Esteban killed Eddie.
Destroyed me.
And then it was me versus Robert, and I killed Robert. That's a new record, dude. I killed Robert, surprisingly. And everybody was shocked. Everybody was shocked, and that's like an achievement.
No.
defeat
Dude,
Robert.
I want to say that everyone was trashing on your team before
They
the
were.
season started.
They
You
were.
one of them.
I know, I was one of them.
Robert was one of them. Like, I remember everyone was offering me picks that you had because your team's going to be like dog shit. And you would get like the first rounders, and I was like, wait, there no, your team could be good. And you end up fucking going.
And I ended up going to the finals. I played Esteban and my team sold on me. So Esteban won. Esteban won that year, and I ended up getting second, which is actually a record. Even though I should have won, it was a record that I got second. And I beat Robert as well, and everybody thought that I was going to lose. Everybody hated my team because of the trade of Jefferson, and I ended up getting second. So that was our season.
Damn, the championship's so one-sided.
There was a lot of surprises.
Esteban, like, really beat your team in the championship.
I think it's time we announce the awards before we move on to the draft.
What were the awards?
The awards. So this man's gonna announce them, and some of them were surprising, and some of them were just obvious. So I'm gonna let him announce them. Go right on ahead, sir.
So, the commission team decided we need to spice things up, you know, show some appreciation to certain players, certain GMs.
Try to tuck it over.
So, we made some awards. We have the Best GM of the Year award, Most Improved award, the Regression award, the Comeback award, the Mid award, and finally my personal favorite, the Kevin award. That one's self-explanatory, kind of.
The Kevin
Start off from the bottom to the top. So
Did
the Kevin
win
Award
the Kevin
first.
Award?
Okay. So, for Best GM of the Year.
Wait. Do that one last. Do the Kevin Award first.
Okay. So, the Kevin Award, and by the way, in these categories we had nominees
Yes.
who almost got
The
voted for it.
commissioner's
For the
messaged
Kevin
us.
Award?
Believe it or not, we had 0 nominees for the Kevin Award because Kevin was basically voted 9 out of 10 times.
Also, everyone's agreed that.
Everybody
just
except him voted.
And I'm gonna just say this: you want to know who that one vote went against?
Who?
Kevin chose me.
He chose you to be for the Kevin Award?
Yep.
But his team did terrible.
But obviously we know who got the Kevin Award. It was Kevin.
Yep, and we lost him. Now there's the comeback award. Now this, I believe the description had said that this is from how you improved from last year.
I think
So
I have
last
them.
season you might have done poor, but the next season you came back and you strengthened and you improved.
The which award?
The comeback award.
Says this award goes to the GM who made major improvements compared to their horrendous season last year.
Summarize what I said. Thank you, Cooks. And we had a lot. We had a tie actually. So I believe this was a co-award, right? So the comeback award. Oh, would you look at that? They went to Robert.
Robert?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because the commissioners decided. That's true.
Oh.
We decided, and I guess technically speaking, yeah, Robert did have an improvement from last year. His nominees were, well, this man up here and then Esteban. They were the nominees, but Esteban was tied with Robert, but the commission team felt Robert was more fitting.
What is everybody with that award?
Surprisingly, that he, because of his team now, like I don't know how he does it. Like I don't know if it was you or Kevin that asked Robert, how do you do it? Like how do you get these good players for a bag of chips? How do you trade a bag of chips for good players? I don't know who was the one that asked Robert that question, but it was after the Derrick Henry trade.
Like Mikey has his book,
I think
Robert has his book.
It's because Robert took advantage of Ricky's
Low IQ.
not low IQ, but Ricky was just panicking for no reason, and he saw the moment and jumped on it. He was saying that Derrick Henry might get hurt, this might happen, and all these things might happen, and he jumped on that.
Alright.
Jumped on that.
We got which award next? The Regression Award. So this award goes to the GM who had a great season last year, but had a dumpster fire season this year. That's the regression.
Votes came in. Reggie had 4. However, Oscar had 6.
So Oscar got it. Okay.
Yep. Nominees were not only Oscar, but Kevin. Even though he got 0 awards, 0 votes for it, he also got nominated for that award.
Oh my god. So that one goes to Oscar. Okay.
Now, next we have the mid award.
The mid award. This award goes to the GM who performed mid this season.
Now.
Oh god.
Jace technically won this. We gave it, the commission team felt it was right to give it to me.
Because of the playoffs.
However, we gave it to Jace. Because Jace got the most picks. Most votes, my bad. He got 4 votes, Reggie got 1. Both Ricky and I got 2. Oh, and Koki's also got 1 for some reason.
Maybe it was Jace that voted me.
No, Jace voted for himself.
Well, who voted for me?
I don't know.
Did you vote for me?
That could be possible. I don't know who I voted for.
Kevin voted for me. Kevin voted
I think I voted for Jace too.
That's crazy. But yeah, Jace won the mid award.
I kinda agree because right when the playoffs were there, he didn't even try. If you saw the score, if one of y'all saw the score in the first round that you played Jace, it's like he didn't even try. Like I think he had players on the bench that did good that he forgot to put in. That's what I feel. That's why I think he honestly should have gotten that award, or he did, and I'm pretty sure that's why. That's what I can think of.
We're going down to the last
my
2
team
awards.
His team really bad.
Yeah.
Now we go to the most improved award.
All right, most improved. This award goes to the GM that became highly active and made improvements to their team from a GM standpoint. This season compared to being a horrific and lazy GM last season.
Votes came in. I got 1 vote. I don't know if I voted for myself to be honest, but
I don't remember.
Robert got 3. Stefan got 2. And our clear victor got 4. Pokey's won a most improved with a 9-5 record.
Who was that you went to the championship?
Surprisingly, that's so surprising. I thought I was gonna finish second, 4th, or 3rd.
Now for the final award, the one we've been waiting for. Best GM of the Year award.
Best GM of the year. This award goes to the GM that took his team to the playoffs or promised land, who created moves for their team to succeed and dominate others this season.
So,
We had 1 vote for me, 1 vote for Jace, 1 vote for Oscar somehow.
They all voted for themselves.
Oscar
They all voted for themselves.
3 votes for Esteban and 4 votes for Pokey's. Pokey's won Best GM of the Year award with a 9-5 record.
Yes.
So those were your awards. We had our first co-award, which was the comeback award. Both Esteban and Robert won. I know I had said we chose Robert, but I was looking at the wrong file, so I was drafts my bad.
So I got best GM and comeback.
Yes.
I'll take it, honestly, for a good season. That was honestly a good season.
Just to reiterate, Kevin got the Kevin award with 311. Jace got the mid award with a 9-5 record. Esteban with a 10-4. Robert with 11-3. Both got shared the comeback award. Regression award goes to a 5-9 Oscar. And this guy got 2 awards under his belt so far. First year into the dynasty. And you know what? Discussing this now, I think we might add a new award to the league.
Is it like the positive reward or the Kevin award?
Actually, it's a positive award.
Oh God.
And he would have won it this year, actually. So that would have been 3 under his belt.
What award is it?
Which award was it?
I'm thinking the most doubted GM award.
Well, everyone was
Doubting me.
Yeah, so that would have been your 3rd award under your
Everyone
belt.
saw your team
And they all called
and
it.
automatically didn't even debate on it. Y'all just signed you off. You weren't gonna make the playoffs.
Exactly.
And your team was terrible.
And I made it to the
That
championship,
your
and I
pick
beat
should
Robert.
be- And you beat Robert.
And I beat
And Robert
Robert.
was one of your biggest doubters.
Exactly. Well, those were all the Dynasty Award
To
for
be
last
fair, I
year.
instigated it.
He used to get your
I
like
did
his
that.
picks would be like top like #1 picks.
And then I got to Robert saying, he's like, Pookie speaks.
You know, like Robert was overvaluing your picks because he thought your team would be trash.
Yeah,
And he beat his ass in the playoffs.
I beat him.
That's what he gets.
That's honestly what he gets, exactly.
That's what he gets.
To excel to the championship run.
Exactly. Alright, that was the awards for last year. Now we're finally moving on to this season. Let's go ahead and start off with the rookie drafts. Now this was so complicated when it came to trading picks. And honestly, we already know the winner of the draft. It ain't no debate. He won. With all the picks he had, with all the players he picked.
He had so many picks.
He had so many. And he had the first 2 picks. In the first round the first player he picked was none other than Bijan. Bijan Robinson. Honestly, a steal. And I feel like it's well deserved. Just hope he doesn't get injured. Because we know that your team is injury prone, no offense. This man had a lot of injuries last year, and that probably led him to not being in the playoffs. So he picked Bijan first round, but it wasn't his pick. It was Kevin's. But Kevin gave him that pick. But the second one was his, and he ended up picking JSN, Jackson Smith, Najikba. That's a good steal as well. But the thing is, how do you think he's going to do with Seattle? We know that they have Metcalf, we know they have Lockie, and then him. Do you think he's going to do way better than both of them?
Honestly, it's going to take time, man. I mean,
It's going to take time.
it's going to take time. I don't expect him to be like Jamar. Like, he's a very talented receiver. I don't think it's going to take long for him to adjust real quickly. However, I think he'll be a Super Bowl receiver too. Probably towards the end of the season.
That's true.
I don't see him taking away DK's, targets and all that. People are afraid of DK's production. Might remain the same because don't forget, they still look at Lockett as the number 2. Jason, he's just going to be here and there. It just depends how Pete Carroll wants to use him, what sets, what personnel. But he's going to get up to that receiver 2 spot at the end of the season for sure.
True.
So I do like what I see.
So before I continue on, mentioning who everybody else picked, I'm noticing in the draft that Eddie, didn't even have a single pick.
I have 1 pick.
You had 1 pick. Oh yeah. Oh, you had mine.
Yes.
You had mine. Yeah, you had mine.
I
So-
ended up doing a trade with Reggie. And I had a pick in the later end of the first round.
Yeah.
And I was going for some wide receivers, but Ralph just ended up taking all of them, and Reggie took what was his
Quentin
name?
Johnston.
Yeah. And so I ended up taking Josh Downs.
Josh Downs.
Which is kind of a gamble because it was a huge QB problem over there. They have got Minshew,
Yeah.
and Anthony Richardson. As long as they can produce, Josh Downs should be fine. But then again, Josh Downs is a rookie, and I just want to see him develop from this season going forward.
Exactly. And then let's see, Quinn Johnson, and then Ralph took Robert's first round and drafted Zay Flowers. I wanted Zay Flowers. I did. Now I'm not gonna lie, I did try to get my first round pick, the one that Eddie used. I tried to get it because I wanted to actually pick someone, and that someone was gonna be Zay Flowers, and he got it. So if I would have had my first pick, I probably would have drafted a tight end. Honestly, either a tight end or probably a tight end. And then Ralph drafted Dalton Kincaid with his pick. It's a steal. It's a good one. It's a good pick. And then Ralph went again for Reggie's pick in the second round. Drafted Jonathan Mingo, receiver for Carolina. Let's see how he does, honestly.
Yeah, a slow start, but he'll get there.
Adam Thielen is too old already, and I feel like he's not going to do well. And took my second round, drafted Jalen Hyatt.
That kid's special.
We'll see. See how Dan Dimes does.
You gotta give him time, man. Don't get me wrong. He's not gonna start off great. You gotta give him time.
The rookies not gonna explode unless like they had that superstar factor like CD and all those guys.
Let's not forget Devontae Adams had a poor fifth season when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
Also, what was his name? Peyton Manning.
What was his name, Peyton Manning?
No, I'm not saying like he's a.
How many
like,
interceptions did he
like,
throw?
Peyton Manning's
Like 30 some, right? Or 20 some? It was like a lot of
it was
interceptions.
a bad rookie season.
Yeah, he still holds that record.
But after that, he came back. And like I said, it was so amazing. But I can't believe it's been so long since he's retired. I almost forgot like his name. Like Super Bowl 50. Yeah, like Super Bowl 50. Like watching that game, it was magical. But everyone like kind of like blaming Cam for not picking up that fumble.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since.
I'm
he's
not gonna
retired.
lie. Super Bowl 50 was actually the first Super Bowl I ever watched.
Like
I can't lie. All the way through. I never watched NFL games. When I was little, whenever before
You should
Super Bowl
watch
50,
Super Bowl 49. Dude.
I saw the highlights, but I didn't
You know,
see.
like everyone thought they were gonna run the ball.
And they threw a pick to Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler caught that. Everyone just started freaking out, and like
Except Tom Brady was too excited.
he started kneeling and shit.
Yes. Yeah, Super Bowl 50 was actually the first ever NFL game that I ever watched. Aside, well, not really. Let me think. What was the game? What year was it? Was it after Super Bowl 50 where the Cowboys picked the Packers and Des Bryant caught it, but they said it was incomplete? And they
No,
finished
it was
with
the
a
same
field
year, wasn't it? 2014.
Yeah. It was the same year because the Packers lost to the Seahawks. That
Yeah,
round.
the Seahawks
yeah.
was going down the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game I actually
Was it the
watched.
same season where it was like the Colts versus the Patriots? Or am I thinking of the wrong different season?
Not sure.
Or the Flake game came out?
I was gonna say, yeah, didn't Brady get suspended that year?
Like the following season, right?
Yeah, the full
For like 4 games.
the first 4 games, and then Jacoby Brissett started for a couple.
Yeah. Or was it Jimmy G?
No, it was Jimmy G.
It was Jimmy G.
Yeah, it was Jimmy G.
Back when he was the
Because I think at that time, Jacoby Brissett went to the Colts, didn't he? He was a starter.
Yes. I think so.
Or not? That was the next.
That was like when they were hyping up Jimmy G, and then as soon as Tom Brady came back, everyone forgot about him. He got traded to the Niners.
To the Niners.
And he was undefeated until he died.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game, the Cowboys game, was actually the first one I ever watched fully. And I saw it, but I didn't know a lot of players. I knew Des Bryant because I had a jersey of him. I knew Jason Witten because I had a jersey of him as well. And Jason Witten has
I
been
have
my
a Sean Lee
favorite
jersey.
Oh,
I have 2 Sean Lee jerseys. All I have.
I remember I think it was my sister. She had a Tavon Austin one.
Oh, that's old.
That's so old. I had a Jason Witten jersey when I was little. And has always been my favorite player, Jason Witten. And when I found out he went to the Raiders that one year before he retired, I was sad. I honestly was.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie either.
I did not like him.
Oh, yeah. He went to the Raiders for like what, 1 season?
Just one season and then he
Yeah,
retired.
for what? Like why?
For no reason. But yeah.
That was so seeing Whitney in a different jersey. It was so weird.
But it's like how every Cowboys legend does it. Like, for example, Emmitt Smith, Harry Allen, Jason Witten,
Exactly.
It just feels so weird.
Dion.
Like Jerry Rice, didn't he go to the Seahawks?
Yeah, and he got caught like before preseason ended.
It's crazy. Also Joe Montana with the Chiefs. Was it Joe Montana or Steve Jones?
Yeah, he went to the Chiefs. I think both of them went to the Chiefs, didn't they? Didn't they end their careers with the Chiefs?
I think he did.
I know Montana.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
And the
one
same
went
thing.
to the playoffs or both of them?
I think both of them. But same thing with Tony Gonzalez. He went with the Chiefs or was the others?
Oh, yeah, it was at the Chiefs.
That's right.
And he did good. But yeah, All right, here's a question. Every Super Bowl you've watched, which one was your favorite? Let's start with Ralph.
Tough, man. Can't say, but if you said least, I can give you a quick answer.
Go ahead.
Which was the one? Was it 55? I could be way off. With the Panthers and the Broncos?
50.
50, there you go. I was 5 years off. I hate that Super Bowl, so I bet $20 on the fucking Panthers. And they got blown out by the Broncos, dude.
Dude, all I heard from school was, oh, the Panthers are going to win. Oh, the Panthers are going to win.
The hype was real.
Like, one of our middle school friends, Devin.
Devin,
He was going for the Panthers and they ended up losing. I remember that, like, actually, like, anything that I remember from that season or that year, that's what I remember. Devin going for the Panthers and they ended up losing. That was.
You said your worst favorite, right?
Yeah, worse.
If we're saying,
I'm lost because of Cam Newton.
If we're saying worst, I think my worst one was Super Bowl 53, where it was the Patriots versus the Rams. And I'm going to give you 2 reasons.
That one.
Number one, the score was like they didn't even score until the end, basically.
It was kind of boring.
It was so boring.
But for like entertainment, it was a boring game. But that was a Super Bowl Jared Goff played. That is crazy. Like people look at Jared Goff like he's on a good QB or at least like kind of.
Todd Gurley was there as well, right?
Yeah. But he didn't get used that much in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For some reason.
That was a good defensive game for both teams.
You want to know number 2 on why I needed that Super Bowl? The halftime show. They didn't play Sweet Victory.
Oh, it was that one.
It was
SpongeBob.
Didn't they like promise it or something?
They did promise it.
Didn't they show SpongeBob but didn't play it?
They played freaking Travis Scott Sicko Mode.
Oh.
They like clickbaited everyone.
That was another reason why I hate that Super Bowl. Because they didn't play Sweet Victory. And that was when Stephen Hillenberg passed away. And everybody was like, we want them to play Sweet Victory at the Super Bowl.
They didn't.
They didn't. They just showed a cutscene of Squidward, and then they just played Travis Scott, and we were like, boo. That's another reason why I hated that Super Bowl. And I was going for the Rams. I didn't want the Patriots to win.
If I had to go for a favorite Super Bowl,
We were describing words, by the way.
I mean, I know we were going for the worst, but I already like revealed my worst. The same Super Bowl, the Rams, the Patriots.
Yeah.
It was a boring game to watch.
It was boring.
But my favorite one was between 49 and I forgot the number, but it was between the Falcons and the Patriots.
51.
51.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta admit that was a really good.
That was a
Super Bowl.
crazy.
That was a
like,
crazy
historically, like event-wise, that's a crazy Super Bowl because no other Super Bowl has gone to overtime except that one.
That one.
And that comeback was crazy.
It was a comeback.
Didn't Julian Edelman win MVP in that one?
That what?
Julian Edelman?
Yeah, he
probably.
was Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, he won the MVP.
Yeah, Brady did.
Was that his last year or second to last before he retired?
I felt so sad for Matt Ryan. Because like that was like he was supposed to win that one. Matt Ryan like he needed that one Super Bowl to solidify himself into like the Hall of Fame.
And that's literally how they made the movie. Have you all heard of 80 for Brady? Like where it's about the 4 old women who are like huge Tom Brady fans. The movie was based on 51. And basically like it was about these 4 women who were massive Tom Brady fans. They win Super Bowl tickets, but they were fake. And the Super Bowl was based on 51. And during the halftime show, you know how the Patriots were down? Basically in the movie, they were mentioning to Tom Brady, like, you got this, like, we have faith in you. And then Tom Brady was like, let's do it. And that's how they won. That's basically the movie. Because it was based on 51, and that's how they won. I saw the movie, but it wasn't the best, but that's basically the story. It involved 51, involving the Patriots making that huge comeback, going into overtime and winning.
Yeah. I wanted the Falcons to win. I wanted Matt Ryan.
I did want the Falcons to win. And that day, I was at Jaime's house. I remember. And we were watching it, and it was in overtime, and me and him were pissed when that touchdown happened. My favorite Super Bowl would have to be, let me think, Super Bowl 53 was the Patriots and the Rams. So 54 was the Chiefs and the Niners.
To be honest, I really like that one.
That one was my
I
favorite.
like that Super Bowl, to be honest. Like, it showed like a sense of the identity of Patrick Mahomes, because I mean, they were down by what, 10 points near like the end of the fourth quarter.
That one was my favorite.
And I don't know, they caught up, and then it was all up to Jimmy G. This is where Jimmy G was showing everyone his true self.
Yep.
Because he was just literally a system quarterback. He fit over Shanahan's system. So, was he that quarterback that can breach that barrier of him being a winning quarterback when his team needs him the most, rather than just doing the bare minimum with everything surrounding him?
Exactly.
And that quarter basically proved just that. He wasn't that quarterback that could take him to that winning title.
Like, could exceed expectations.
Yeah. They can only go as much as he can go with that system.
And that's why that Super Bowl was my favorite, because the Niners lost.
Yeah, Richard's pretty sad about that one.
That's what he gets.
Yeah, that's what
He deserved it.
Yeah, he deserves it.
I also like the part where that guy dropped the interception against Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
That one was
I
crazy.
remember. No, but it was also sad for my family because that last touchdown, I think it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If he hadn't scored that, my parents would have won a lot. My dad would have won a lot of money. But since he scored, we lost.
What did y'all think of the Bengals and
The Bengals
Rams?
deserved it. The Bengals should have won.
You
That
know,
was
you
Jamar Chase's
reminded me of
rookie
that
year.
one. I like that Super Bowl too, but I felt it was kind of. It wasn't that great of officiating, we'll be honest, for both sides.
I wanted the Bengals
But,
to.
dude, Jamar Chase was open on a touchdown on the last play.
Yes.
He was open, but some guys cannot block.
And Joe Burrow got sacked? No, that was Aaron Donald.
Yes.
No, that was
Aaron Donald.
It was Aaron Donald, but regardless, if you know he's coming at you, double team. They had the worst. That O-line went to shambles. For some reason, they weren't good in the regular season, but when it came like playoff time, they went to complete shambles.
They were good because they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. I think it was the finals, the conference finals.
Yeah.
And the last week before the playoffs,
That was
Jamar
like-
Chase killed it.
With Eli Apple, you know,
Oh,
or Cole Hardman and Tyreek on Twitter. Cancun on 3.
Yeah, I can't believe Eli Apple.
And then he got cooked for a touchdown in that Super Bowl.
He was getting cooked the whole game.
Exactly.
I can't believe that Jamar Chase right there beat Jalen Ramsey. All you have to do is block.
And yet both Eli Apple and Jalen Ramsey are on the
That
same
is so
team. in my opinion.
crazy. All you have to do is block, but it's Aaron Donald in front of you.
Yeah, but even that, as a coach, I'm saying all of you motherfuckers better get that man. And even then, if you know, because the play shifted to the right, by the way. So if you know there's play shifting to the right, why don't you make that wall? Like, you remember our play call with the Hawks, Wally?
Yes.
Okay,
y'all like
Wally was
swoop?
basically the line shifting to block the quarterback's blind side. So if he was gonna roll out to the right, they would shift the wall to protect the left side, and vice versa, right? He was running out to the left. So you should at least make that adjustment, man.
Exactly.
And like I said, double Aaron Donald, man. Have two. Why are you gonna have one on a crucial play? Go big or go home in the Super Bowl. Had they had blocked and gave at least Joe Burrow maybe 1 more second, he would have seen Jamar open. Had it been a pretty pass, who knows? But he would have went for Jamar downfield. Had he had like probably that 1 extra second time.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Because he beat Jalen Ramsey. God, he was open.
I know. Dude, that was sad.
I was actually pretty heated because, like, dude, as a lineman as myself, you gotta block, man. Like, I don't care, man. I guess Aaron Donald, but God, man. You
And
gotta.
wasn't there like a bad call too? Like, wasn't it a bad call on one of the linebackers from the Bengals?
Yes.
55?
Pass interference somehow.
But I didn't think
Like, he made a play before the ball, quote unquote.
Someone typed and I can't see.
Quote unquote.
Let's see. I can see it.
I think it's a follow.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, it's a follow.
Someone second hand pick is now following.
Yeah.
But
appreciate the follow, my man. But anyway, yeah, that Super Bowl was so sad. I kind of wanted the Bengals to win.